Alright, what is up, guys?
What is up? Sorry about that. Hopefully you guys can see me. I was not gonna make a video today, simply because I don't have anything to really talk about. But I've noticed, I haven't uploaded in a minute. I think like the last thing I uploaded was like a week ago. I'm not sure. Yeah. So basically, none of this was planned. To be honest with you, um, I guess what I just want is to vent. To be honest. But before I do that, before I, get to the, to a lot of that, to be honest with you, I just want to say thank you. Um, a lot. It means a lot to me. Like, you have no idea, like, how much I am, um, appreciative. And, honestly, just thank you. I don't know how much I could say thank you, but if I could just bring a basket to each one of you guys, I would. Trust me, I would. Or just like uh, I don't know, Celsius for each one of you guys. Just tell you how much I thank you. Uh, it's been it's been weird, seeing you guys support me and you say a lot of good comments. To be honest with you, I've been seeing a lot of that, and it's new to me because this is not my first rodeo. Just letting you guys know, it's not my first time being on YouTube. Um, and I've never had that much appreciation. And yeah, I really do appreciate for those who actually subscribe as well. I mean, all in all, just thank you so much. It means a lot. You have no idea how much it means to me. Um, because sometimes I think that I am alone. Um, I think I'm always the one thinking like this all the time, and then I'm not. I was very hesitant, believe it or not. I was very hesitant to even upload the first video I uploaded in this channel. Like not the first one. Obviously, I have a lot. I'm talking about this year. The way I came off. I think like that was in December. Um, oh November. I don't remember. Um, the reason why is because it's been 2 years since I uploaded this channel, and man, if I could just tell you guys, like like if I could just, you know what I mean, like pop that lid open, just freaking go all out, but I can't. I want to, but I can't because as I have to be careful. I have to be very careful, to be honest. Not because people will think of me. I don't care about that. Trust me, I don't care. It's because legally, honestly, it's legal stuff. So I have to be very careful. Man, but that's the past. This is now. It's still happening now, currently. But I guess I could just start off with the good stuff. And as you can see, I'm a little bit of a mess. I have my. This is my office. Technically, this is my library now. I don't even use it for my office at all. To be honest with you, it was hard for me to step in here to do office work. I had to do a lot of bills and a lot of calls and etc. And I used to get a lot of anxiety and panic attacks. And you may say, "Wow, Josh, like, what's up with that?" It was very difficult to it's not difficult to explain. Just one more context, I guess it would be easier, but I just can't tell you a lot of other context. But what I can say is that I was dished a platter of things that I never wanted, and then on top of those things that I received, there were other things that I found out later on. Like for instance, I'm in debt. I didn't know that I was in debt. Secondly, I'm even more in debt. So I have those two things that I'm like, it's and I owe a lot of people that I didn't know I owe a lot of money. Um, and I was very resentful towards my father mainly, to be honest with you. And from what I could tell you guys, I wish that 2024 me, I wish I told him, don't be a coward. Be honest. Say no. But I didn't. Unfortunately, I said sure. And whether it was peer pressure, whether it was responsibility, and or it's my burden that I had to take on, either way, I had a choice, and I didn't take it, and I regret it. I do. I really do. Because of those decisions, and eventually the stress that came along with, I think really what really destroyed me was the stress. The amount of stress that I had to endure, then the depression that came right after, the frustration caused a lot of my body to absorb. Like I wasn't eating well. My There's two things I it's difficult, but my shoulders are popped, like they're literally popped. Especially this one. I can't lift myself up anymore. I used to. I can't do that anymore. It hurts and it pops out. Not a good thing. Clearly not a good thing. Second, my back, not the same anymore. I have a hernia. I always had a hernia since 2021 or 2022, but it got really bad now that I one of my discs from I think like literally from my mid rib cage from the back, it's inflated and it's swollen, and I don't know how the heck it got like that. It happened last year. Just the amount of stress that I had to deal with. And if I could tell you, I would, trust me. Maybe one day I will. But basically, I had to deal with a lot of snakes and deal with a lot of betrayal and deal with a lot of lies, manipulations, backstabbers. And it was hard because I couldn't go after them as much as I wanted to. I had to be careful, and and this is where God really shaped me. That's why I tell you guys what I say here and what I preach out there, it is real because it happens to me. I had to learn to forgive them. I had to learn to love them. Um, and it was hard for me. And it was even harder to say it in person as well. While the person is still attacking you and still trying to literally destroy you. Not literally, right? Like trying to kill you. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about destroy any potential um, like business or future, any possibility to grow, basically. And I had to deal with defaming character, all of this kind of stuff. And then on top of that, dealing with my personal issues and my physical issues, it was hard. It was hard to find God in all of that, and I still had to. And overall, I've learned two things, and I kept questioning it, right? My virtues, my values, my morals. I am a Christian, but why am I a Christian? That's what I always kind of dealt with, because I always felt like, why? Like I had every opportunity to leave church. I never did it. I had many people who told me not to leave, and he left. They were the ones who left. I had even more reasons to go many, many years ago, not that long ago actually, when people turned their backs on me and walked away, never went. I would always try, but I understood it. I just don't know why. I just knew out there, it just what, even if Christianity was a lie, what the alternative is worse, in my opinion, because I can see the fruits of it, right? I can see, the nature of human nature. I mean, I am human, so I know exactly what I'm capable of and what I'm not, and what I can do and what I can't, and what I'm incapable of lying and doing to destroy myself. So I know the alternative isn't perfect. It's near perfect. Even if Christianity was real, what Christ done and did and said is true, regardless. And and I realized the grace of God has always been with me, even throughout all of those questionings and all of those ideas, because I was really deconstructing my faith, really becoming my more nihilistic views, having this sort of idea that it works, but it doesn't work for me. That's what I kept doing, because I wasn't feeling it, or I wasn't doing it, basically. And that's when it really hit me, because am I really just doing it because it feels it, just the emotional? So then, the standard of truth isn't really standard at all, because it's just an emotional strain. It's just emotional attachment to it, right? So am I really just following it because it's emotional? And I just went to even another, rabbit hole after that, one after another. And that's when I was confronted with, love, pretty much. Unfortunately, I never really was demonstrated what love's supposed to look like. I know I have two parents. God bless them. God bless me. I have privileges not, far beyond. I don't take them for granted, but I never had that type of, the love I had was more of like, um, sacrifice, pride, and work ethic. That's all I had. You provide, you bring, you come home with financial gain, or you lost. That was pretty much my whole version of love. And that wasn't it. Clearly that was clearly not it. And I think that's what really ultimately led me into this path of trying to figure out what love is and why we couldn't do it. Um, but now coming so man, again, this is why I never want to record, right? Because I have these moments where I get so overwhelmed, right? Right now, currently, I'm not having a good time, right? I'm not in my best mindset either. That's why I'm very careful what I say. I'm learning as I grow, and I always want correction, positive correction, because there's always negative ones out there. So, and right now, what I feel is this. I feel this job takes so much of me. Like, literally, I had to take a bath. I haven't taken a bath and I think I don't even remember. Because the back pain hurts so much. I try sitting here and I can't. It hurts. My neck hurts. And then I get so tired. I'm tired. Like, this is the problem about this hard labor job. It's a blue collar job, so it takes so much, like, literally a toll over my body, and I'm frustrated because I, man, if I could just tell you guys, like, I built a system last year, and unfortunately, it didn't hold. I knew there were holes in there. I knew that there were people there that were not really with the best intentions. But I tried, you know what I mean? Like, I tried to preach the gospel to them. I tried to share that to them. I tried and tried and tried, and nothing. It just blew up in my face, really. It really did. And now I have to start all over again. And it sucks because I have to basically work 10 times harder now. And now I'm tired. I'm more tired now when I come home. And then I can't do this where sometimes I just want to study. I just want to dive deep in my Bible. So what I do is, literally, no joke, bro. No, I'm not lying when I say this. I take this bag with me to work. It's a bunch of books in here. Like, I'm not joking. Look, I got this book. Man, I love this book. I really do. There's a lot of stuff here that I'm always like, just blows my mind that these are, again, Greek mythology and philosophy. It's just crazy how it literally built the Western society as well. Then I have this humongous book, and I was reading it yesterday, and that's nothing, right? And then I got this little backpack. I tell you, I do, like, I try to, I don't want to be prideful, right? Because I don't like that. But I want you guys to understand that I'm trying to be real. Whatever I do here and say to you and you see here is true. And whatever I'm speaking is because of these books, and it's because of the passion I have. I love God. I really do. I have a great, I can't explain it. God has changed me in a way where I know He is true. I know He is the standard. I have that now. But now it's harder. Because now that I know what love really is, it's like it's harder to keep it now. Because it's like it's fragile. It's delicate. You have to be careful. And it's so crazy. I can't explain it. But anyway, then I have this book, right? C.S. Lewis. Been reading it a lot. Then I have my little booklets. I keep writing stuff down, and I have this little one right here as well. I've been writing things down, and then I have this book. Hi, I'm an atheist, right? I want to understand people, right? So two things that I've come to conclusions, right? One thing that really popped in my mindset is the basis of morality. His argument is saying basically that we don't need God for our morals. We don't need God for our goodness, right? And I think he called it. I'm sorry. I have it underlined. I have so many sticky notes, and a good thing, altruism, basically. And he calls it God of the gaps, right? We don't need religion. We don't need it, right? But here's the thing, though, because he calls it evolution. He calls immorality has evolved. But here's the problem, though. The two things that I wrote here, right? The objections that I put. So he says everyone will believe in something and basically they'll believe it because of their culture and tradition. They will follow it because they've been grew up about it. But here's the contradiction. He himself had, I don't know if he had Christian parents, but I believe he went to a Catholic school, or his family came to Catholic school, but he became secular, and then he became atheist, right? So it kind of backfires, right? But then also you have others, right? Because you do have that. I do agree in some certain degree that your culture around you does influence you. Come on, it's literally everywhere, right? But if you think about it two ways, right? It's a two-way street. You do see other people change their religion or change their belief into something else. Yes or no? We do have that. We wouldn't have this book right? I mean, we wouldn't have these type of people who would be saying this, right? We wouldn't have this book. We wouldn't have this book, right? Literally why I'm not Christian, all right? We wouldn't have these books if that didn't exist. Then on top of that, right? The second thing that I think of is, I already lost it. I already lost it. Yeah, I already did. What? Oh my god. Sometimes I get tired. That's how you know I'm tired. Okay, culture and tradition, right? Influences around you, right? Here we go. Then we have culture of Christianity. Come on. The Western society has been built on culture of Christianity and also philosophy of the Greeks, right? But still, culture of Christianity has brought a lot to the table. For instance, this book right here, Jesus Skeptic. Again, I didn't even know this, but there's a lot of stuff here. It's very interesting, right? It just blows my mind. I wonder if this is it. For instance, look at this. I didn't know this, but the top 10 hospitals ranked in the United States. We have Cleveland Clinic, Johns Hopkins Hospital, Massachusetts General Hospital, University of Michigan, UCSF Medical Center, San Francisco, one in Los Angeles, and then you have Sinai Medical Center. Then you have Standard Health Care, Standard Hospital, and CA. Then you have New York Presbyterian Hospital. All founders were Christians, and first doctors were Christians educated, right? Look at that. So again, what I'm trying to say to this, look at this. And I didn't know this, right? Percent of Christians in 10 best nations for women's rights. Bro, women's rights are in the best, like literally, we have 75% are Christians. I mean, in Christians nations. And here we look at this. 10 best nations for women's right in world today: Iceland, Norway, Finland, Sweden, Ireland, the Philippines, oh my god, dude, Philippines, you know what I mean, all right? Switzerland, right? New Zealand, Slovenia. Then you have the other countries that don't have women's right really good. You already know those. Middle East, right? What I'm trying to say to that is that cultural Christianity does influence a lot. So again, even with our cultural Christianity that we live in today, I can still be secular. I can still think the other side. I can still decide whether I should follow this or not, whether I believe in Jesus or not, right? So we still have that here. We can still do that. At the same time, that's what I say. We borrow God. We borrow God's ideas, God's law, God's word, God's literal Bible, and we just want to refuse to believe in Jesus. That's it, right? So there you go, right? And then there's another thing that of morality, right? he talks about evolution, right? It evolved. Here's two things though, with that kind of ideal, right? Because if you take religion, right, I do agree in a certain degree that religion does suppresses morality, right? We have India, for instance, right? For perfect example, I mean, you the Poop Festival. That's the first one, right? That pops in my mind, right? So then look at this. So here's the thing then. Where did I write it? Because I forget. Here we go. So if our moral is always changing due to evolution, then two things are opened. One, truth is never true. So there's no absolute truth. Why? Because the second one, because true what's true today can be changed tomorrow. So meaning truth changes every single day. It either adds on or it takes away. So whatever is good today, it is bad tomorrow. Whatever is bad today, it's good tomorrow. So there is no absolute truth. And then it just really becomes opinions at that point, right? It just becomes imaginations at that point, right? And then again, what I say, where is your standard? Where is the objective truth? We all know, but where does it really come from? Evolution or from the consciousness? Again, how? And then here we go. Then you have other nations and other societies that, because then you say, oh, it's due to civilization, it's due to society modernizing, it's due to all of these things, right? But what about those other nations that don't have that? So then what you're doing here is basically what, Dawkins always say, the fight of the fittest, right? The weakest to the strongest, right? The strongest will inherit, and will create, and the weakest will basically die out or pretty much become what, just primitive, and they don't know what's right and wrong. They don't know what's stealing and etc. Which I do disagree, because now what you're doing here, you're kind of labeling yourself more higher than others. More, I'm higher than you. I'm more, because of your value. So, and also racism falls into that category as well. You don't see yourself as equals anymore. So there's that, right? And then this other book that I was reading down there, the big one, right, that talks about, and I think about it this way as well. I think about how Jesus came in that time, and I think about why he came in that time, and I realized that before that time, you had Plato, you had Socrates, you had Aristotle, you have all these great minds, and I didn't know this, but Plato talked about this God being one, going against the grain, literally going against what they believed in. Socrates also had this idea questioning our virtues and why we should follow them. And many others said, no, we shouldn't, because it just gets us in trouble. Or others said, let the government, or let the whatever strong government is there, because they have better, ideas and better vision, and they know exactly where the society should grow and go. And here's the problem. They don't have the standard. They don't have the perfect standard, and that's why Jesus fits so well, and that's why they had the cave. I didn't know Plato had this cave idea where you basically have shadows, and what I got from it basically is that when you're in a cave, you see shadows, you see what you think the world is right now, but you don't see the outside layer that is beautiful and that's greater. There's deeper things into it. And I think the thing what Christianity brings to the table is like, yeah, we know the problem, we see the problem, we know the solution is Jesus, and we can follow his example, and now we're going to build this structure. We don't know where it's going to go, but we know we're going to do it out of love. We know despite you hate us and you refuse us and you want to kill us, we will still love you either way, because God called us as image of God, and you as well. That is our standard, right? And I'm sorry for all of that. I don't want to talk too much, but it's hard for me, because it's sometimes I feel like I'm falling right back to my old habits again. I get very depressed. I get very stressed. I feel like I'm wasting my time. I'm like, God, what is the deal? Like, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm almost 30. I'm about to be, no, I'm not about to be 30. I'm 27. But I'm almost there. And I just don't see myself doing this forever. I have things I wanted to do, and I never had a chance to do them. And I thank God for that, because I feel like there was selfishness in there. But now I'm like, God, where's the next step? And then because I feel like I don't want to do this anymore, you know, because I'm dealing with so many people, bro. You have no idea, man. I wish I could be honest. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm dealing way too much. And it's crazy because I tell my cousins, and she goes like, "Dang, Josh, my problem is nothing compared to yours." And I'm like, "Dang, you know what's crazy? I didn't even think this was a problem." That's the crazy part. I didn't even think that was a problem. And yeah, it just gets hard. It gets hard. And then sometimes I feel good about it because, and then it means it's more meaningful because if I'm going through this and I'm still having my faith intact, and despite it all, and against all odds, and I'm still with God, and I'm still there, and I'm humble, and I'm looking for Him, and I know He's going to reward me. But even if He doesn't, I'm still going to have faith. It's more impactful because it is what I'm coming from comes from real and raw, instead of someone who just picks up a book and read and preaches, and that's it. Doesn't live it. So I'm like, okay, God, I don't like that idea, but if that's the case, then let's go. But it's hard, man. It's hard because you feel like you're alone. And when I lose my temper, man, I always have. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I snap. I snap so fast, so quick. I get overwhelmed, and I start saying things, and I don't mean it, and I'm like, dang, man. I feel like my whole habits. And I think about that verse. I think it's in Ephesians chapter 4, I believe, or like 36 or 26, something like that. And it says, anger, wrath, shouting, and slander shall be removed from your mouth, along with malice. Right? And be kind and compassionate to one another. Love one another. Oh, no. Forgive one another. Love one another as God forgiven you in Christ Jesus. And it always hits me in my mind. It always hits me, that verse, when I curse. I'll be honest, I curse sometimes when I get my moments. I yell sometimes, right? When I get my moments. I slam sometimes. I get my moments. And then I have to repent. That's something I'm dealing with every day. And it's hard. It's hard. And man, sometimes I wish I could be here, to pick up a book and keep reading. I want to, but I get tired, I get overwhelmed with my body feeling so weak. And then that's my cat. And then I go and I think about like how far I've come, right? I mean, despite everything that happened to me, guys, where I was at, I'm telling you, I didn't see any way out. I didn't see any place for me out of any of this. And then, what's crazy? I'm still in it. I'm still in it, and yet I feel like I've grown. I feel like I have. And yeah, man. And I forgive a lot of people. I don't have hate. Right now I don't. I can say that. But when it comes to heat of the moment, I have to make decisions, and sometimes I see it in my face, and it's hard. It's hard, But I know it is the truth. I know it is. It's a chapter in Matthew chapter 5, verse 44, I believe. And it's a beautiful verse. I love it. When Jesus says, you have heard it said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. But I say unto you now, love your enemy. Do good to them who hate you. Pray for those who persecute you. That just hits, bro. It hits. Because you can pray for the ones you love. You can pray for the ones who do good to you. But praying for the ones who want to do nothing but to destroy you, nothing but they're plotting and scheming, and you know that they are, now that is like a deeper type of love, and then like crying for them. I'm not gonna lie, like I had that moment where I start crying. I'm like, what? Why am I crying? I'm praying for this person's future because I don't want him to go to hell. Because that's a real place. And I believe no one should go to hell. No one should. I don't care if you hate me and you want to see me, like, me to go to hell. I don't want you to go to hell, you know? Because that's a real place. And I believe in God, and I believe that He loves me just as much as He loves you. So I just want to repent every day, and I want to love that way for those type of people, you know? And it's hard. But I love the next verse where he says, so you will be called children of God. You'll be called children of your Father who is in heaven. I love my parents. I do. But if I could tell you one thing, I love my Lord more. I love Him. I love my Father. I love Him. I really do. He has never abandoned me. People forget, man. He sent His Son. You know? And His Son listened. He was silent. He was like a lamb entering to a slaughter. And that's something that's, you know. And then there's like the moral, God's moral compass, where I don't know why that hits me harder, where He says the sun rises on the good and the evil. The rain comes on the unrighteous and the righteous. What He's trying to say, now what I think, is morality. You know, where we like to judge God or we like to judge each other. But if we take the basis of God, if we take all of it out, what are we really left with? Just opinions. And who's better? And who's a better thinker? Who's a better a speaker? You know, that's why Paul is always saying, do not love words or speeches. You know, love truth and in action. I mean, love truth and in action. What was the truth? Jesus that came and preached and lived and died. What is the action? The way He did it was getting nailed on that cross for you and me. That is why, right? Not a fancy opinions, not fancy ideas. No, it's what God represents. It's what Nietzsche says. Nietzsche, where he talks about this sphinx, this thing in us, this thing that knows that we can't follow a lie. Even though we want to, we know. Even deeper, in a deeper where we examine and say, is this really true? Because I don't think it is. But we have to dive in. We can't accept this thing. We have to question it. Why? You know? And it's true. It's like and I love how he uses Sphinx, because Sphinx is like the past. Sphinx is like this sort of like this thing hidden, right? This thing that we don't know where it comes from, but we know it's there, type of thing, right? And that's how I feel. And that's why I feel like the Logos, where John 1:1 says the Word was with God, and the Word is God, or was God, something like that. Where Jesus is the Word, and everything in further that verse, or further in that chapter, it talks about everything came out of Jesus. All creation came out of Him. So we borrow this standard from God, from literally when we are birthed into this world. And yet we judge Him for it. We judge Him with that. That's why I just can't believe it can't be evolution. I can't believe that we just developed it as a social construct. I can't. It can't. It just can't be. And it's not even physical. It's metaphysical. So we can't touch it. But we know it's there. It's like our soul. You know, that's why it's hard to believe that there's nothing beyond this life. Come on, we suffer every single day. We go through battles and tested and tempted every single day. And you're telling me that there's no reward and there's no judgment for those who are doing actively evil? intentionally. And that's why that one verse go back to my mind, which is Romans chapter 3, verse 23 or 26, that says, for all have sinned before God. For all of us. That's why going to that verse that I mentioned, Matthew chapter 5, verse 44 through, 46, 47, that talked about this, God's righteousness among good and bad. The sun came up. The rain comes down on both. Because God sees us equally, even when we're sinners. The only thing is whether we choose to live with Him or not. We choose to live and suffer for Him or not. That's up to us. Once we do, just like Jesus says, the ones who do the will of the Father are my brothers and sisters. When He came back and the tomb was empty, Mary was looking for Him. And then Mary ran and rushed to Him and He said, go to my brothers. He never forgets us. But we do. We always do. And I think that's why we have to go to these problems. You know what I mean? Like, we have to. We have to. And it's hard, but it's worth it. I believe. And I have to believe that whatever I'm going through right now is only temporary. You know, that verse goes right back to my mind. And I don't remember exactly where it is, but I know it says, after you have suffered for a little while, He Himself will restore you. He'll build you up, make you strong, firm, and steadfast. And then even further in that verse, or even a little bit before that verse, He says, God of all grace calls you and me to His eternal glory in Christ Jesus. So, two things there. We will suffer, but just for a little while. Doesn't mean that suffering and pain will end. No. Sometimes we will grow out of it. And it won't become a problem. Or it won't become a tropezo in Spanish, right? But basically, what I'm trying to say is a stumbling block. Because the peace will come from Jesus. Because we will be called to His eternal glory. That's selflessness. That's perfect. That is God. That's why I want to love like Him. And it's hard every day. So, but yeah, that's all I got. And I'm gonna try to keep reading. You know, it's late. It's like 11 something. Yeah, we're all this together, and I have to believe that. So, anyway, guys, thank you for watching me. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you for subscribing. That means a lot to me. And again, I have some things I want to talk about, and one day I will. Just not yet. You know, it's not time yet. I feel like God's telling me it's not time. It's not time. And there's a lot of things I want to do, and I feel like God's saying it's not time. I will tell you this though. I bought a bunch of Bibles, English and Spanish, and I'm so excited because I'm going to evangelize, and I just have to set up the whole, system. Once I get that situated, I'm out of there, bro. I'm going, I'm going to sit at my table. I already got the signs already. I already got all of that. I just have to figure out how I'm going to, take the Bibles and stuff. So my whole idea is I want to give things away, right? I want to give Bibles away, mainly Bibles, right? But I feel like there's something more I'm missing. So I got some ideas, but we'll see what happens. So stay tuned for that. That's going to happen very, very soon. I'm excited for it mostly. And very nervous at the same time because I don't know what's going to happen, but I just know, I can't explain it. I just know that it's like what I want to do, So anyway, guys, appreciate it. Love you guys. God bless every one of you. And those who are those who are not believers, God loves you. Jesus loves you. He died for you on the cross, and He has a good future for you. And all you need to do is literally just accept Jesus. Just, you know what I mean? Just let Him in. That's all you have to do. And I promise you, the problems may be solved or not. It don't matter. You realize, wow, Jesus changed my life. And that's all that you really need. So, yeah. God bless.